John Hack here from Think About Comics, joined by
William Bethea.
All right, so today we wanted to bring up something that me and him have both been talking about with the Black Label. It was supposed to originally be like adult content for like the characters that DC's known to love, but lately we've been seeing a lot more Black Label stuff that's kind of like your horror aspect. And I mean, I know you wanted to bring about it. I mean, what do you think about the whole aspect of going away from the costume heroes into these, these scary tales that we keep seeing?
Well, I'm like this. Okay, so I like horror books. I like horror titles, but I was thinking Black Label was gonna be little alternate Superman, Wonder Woman titles, maybe even getting into some of the continuity, but they're just stronger stories. Yeah. So hey, if you want to go harder in continuity, you use the Black Label. Yeah. All right. Now I'm like, yo, nah, this is horror. You Black Label is all about, we're gonna show you how bad things can get. You know? I'm like, whoa, okay. But if this is the way you want to take it, if this is the way DC want to go, all right. We was talking with your boy at the comic shop, and it's like, if Black Label is replacing Vertigo. Yeah. Yo, if if it's going there, cool. But let it be no continuity in it then. It's gotta be separately his own monster and do it that way.
Kind of like what Vertigo used to be with characters like Preacher and stuff like that, where they did their own thing. I mean, I think it's interesting when you look at what Black Label is kind of, it's kind of becoming, we still have like the Harley Quinn book, we had the Joker book, we had Batman Damned,
Wonder Woman. Yeah. Yep.
The Superman one. But I think, for me, I didn't get, reading those books that came out, I didn't understand what they were trying to do with the Black Label still. Yeah. I don't know how you felt. I was still kind of confused on what is the Black Label trying to be? Is it like the new What Ifs, or is it the Elseworlds? Like, what were they trying to do?
Well, you don't have to say Black Label to give me Deceased. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You've already shown that you can put out a series that doesn't have anything to do with continuity, that got superheroes in it, and pull it out.
Yeah, I definitely think the Black Label isn't... I agree with you completely, where they shouldn't use the Black Label to advertise for, these Joe Hill books. I think the Joe Hill books, should be their own kind of thing. Because when I look at the Black Label, I'm thinking, okay, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but rated R. I shouldn't be thinking, okay, the Joe Hill stuff. What I'd like to see, and I think if they did, it'd be kind of cool, but I don't think they're going to take advantage of it at all. If they came out with Masters of Horror or something like that, where they came out with a anthology magazine. Maybe they did one weekly where it would come out, and it might be a $5.99 or a $6 book. Okay. Maybe if you did it like that, maybe a monthly one where it was a collaboration. Like Joe Hill has 3 stories. This guy has 3 stories in it, so and so. Because we're seeing a lot of Joe Hill stuff. Yeah. I haven't read all of them. The only one I read was the Daphne Byrne one, but you were telling me they're pretty good.
Yeah, in the woods, it's good. I like that. There was another one I picked up.
There's the heads.
The heads, yeah, that's good. It's just, it's not in continuity. It's not my heroes.
But I get what you're saying. It's not in continuity, but it has that DC logo, and I think people, when I see the DC logo, I'm expecting a certain feel to a book. When I looked at the Vertigo imprint, when I saw Vertigo on the book, I said, okay, this is going to be its own thing. Yep. I know, hey, look, it's doing completely opposite of what DC is doing, even though they're owned by DC. Yeah. I definitely do think that them producing content for the Black Label that has nothing to do with DC is a misstep. I really would love to see, what was House of Horrors or House of Suspense or something? Yeah, those old school. The old school ones. They bring something like that back. I think that would
Tales
be
from the Crypt.
That would be so cool to do with. I think that's kind of a missed opportunity. But what do you think about them just letting one guy he's doing his own horror aspect? He's
a narrator?
No, Joe Hill is the only guy doing this for DC. We haven't really seen anybody else.
Okay, so I remember I showed you the book I had back in the day with Clive Barker when he had his show. I don't know, because it seemed like they always fall off. You know what I'm saying? So I would hate to put, because the storytelling seems right. I hate to put him on like so many titles, and then it ends up gets grind out or it gets depleted. You know what I'm saying? You maybe bring him out once a month, you know, and then have a nice size jump and do it that way. Because I would get worried that his stuff would just get watered down.
Yeah, do you think that maybe this was something that he had on the shelf for a minute, and he just brought it all to DC and was like, hey, look, this is what I have. I just need you guys to print it or whatever, or someone to draw it.
I don't know. I think
because
it feels pretty fresh.
Because he's doing Dying is Easy right now with IDW.
Okay.
He's doing Daphne Byrne. That's one. The Heads is one. What's the other? In the Woods. Isn't he doing another one?
In the Woods and the Heads is all I but it probably is.
So that's like 4 books. Yeah. One with IDW that I can actually know if I don't have his whole what he. I'm assuming he would do more, but I would just hope that DC needs to like slow down on what they're giving us with the horror content, because it just feels. I don't want it to be oversaturated, or I don't know if they're trying to build like, you know, a Masters of Horror line with Joe Hill. I don't understand, you know, what is the end game here?
I don't get it either. But, you know, I'm gonna do some research, jump into the YouTube, see what we can do. You know, see if they got somebody that's actually saying something, maybe in a column or an interview, to say, yo, this is where we trying to make the Black Label go. And see and we'll come back to y'all on that. You know, we gonna find out. You know, streets talk. So, but I just feel like if you're gonna do Black Label, be one or the other. You know what I'm saying? I definitely.
Do you think the Black Label needs to drop the DC logo and it just would say Black Label?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, because right now they killing it with it. So that's drawing them. That's saying that's DC Pride right now. DC Pride is a Black Label right now, and I mean, whatever titles right now this DC got, that's drawing that kind of new, fresh attention. You know what I'm saying? So they want everybody to know it's DC. Black Label's DC. I think the issue now is just how do we navigate it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, now are you gonna say everything from now on that's horror related is gonna be Black Label, or is it just mature that's gonna be Black Label? Because if you're gonna give me a Superman title like where he, you know, he's dealing with harsher subjects, are you gonna make that Black Label? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, we already got a system, we got a flow. If this is you switching it up, all right, cool, DC, we got it. Black Label is gonna be the dope book, fine, but understand that none of that better be continuity. Yeah. None of that better be continuity. Because if any of that Black Label continuity, now I gotta figure out what I need to pick up. Because I'm not gonna pick it all up. And if I miss something that you told me is in the Black Label, yo, I'm gonna be like, forget this, man. Man, you're making it too difficult. You're making it too difficult to keep up.
Now, like, you know what I think is going to be interesting is how retailers, right? Yeah. They're going to be doing, how are you going to go, so like Vertigo usually has its own section in shops, right? For like the novels. Are you going to have Black Label Superman, right, next to regular Superman stuff on the shelves?
No.
How do you do that? But I mean, how do you do that? Yeah. Because like you can't. It used to be, you know, Vertigo had its own thing. You'd go there, you'd see Doom Patrol, you'd see Swamp Thing, Hellblazer, Preacher, the Invisible, stuff like that. Yeah. And then you turn around, okay, here's Batman. Now you're going to 2 different places for Batman. I think that is a dumb idea.
So this is the comic book. This is the comic shop dilemma. This is your mom and pop bookstore dilemma. This is, because the major chains like Books A Million, they just gonna have one shelf. Here's shelf, all your comics, they all in there, whatever it is, that's it. That's what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's all the comics, there you go. That's all the graphic novels, they all in one little spot, you see it, there you go. We ain't separating it.
Yeah.
So, but when you talking about the mom and pop, you talking about the comic book shop, they gotta figure that out. And that's gonna be hard. Especially now, because I think now is the rebirth of comics. Like, I don't want to say it's a golden age, but because of what has happened now to the attention of comic book characters, and like, I just found out that Road to Perdition was a comic book. I didn't even know that, yo. And I'm like, yo, I heard that. I was like, oh my God. So now you got people researching and going back and saying, oh, cool beans. Yo, most of your people that come into comic books now are guys that got out and came back in. And you hear on other channels, hey, well, they're not new. Yeah, we are. Because we left.
Yeah.
So when we left, you were looking at sales from the people that you have. These dudes that's been out 20 years now, or 15, they come back and they got jobs. They got money. They got interest. And not only do they got interest, 9 times out of 10, they got other people that they're sharing the stories with. You know what I'm saying? I remember back in the day when I was a kid, I was the only cat reading comic books in my squad. I mean, we had games and we pretended we were other people, but the only solid cat that was buying comics on constant was me.
Yeah.
So now that I'm older, now I'm not only buying comics on myself, but I'm bringing in other people that I know, and I'm giving them comics. I'm like, yo, here you go. And they like, oh, wow, we didn't know. And then they giving it to their kids. That's what happens when you come back to the game. Once you come back and you're older and you have a little bit more income, now you can spread that love and bring other new people in. That's how we bring the new people in. So, yeah, this is it right here. This age right here, this is it. So I'm just hoping the Black Label doesn't push itself into a corner.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I think it can easily do that.
Yeah.
Just because you you look at like Batman Damned. You had Batman Last Night. You have the White the White Knight out right now. Yeah. There's a lot of like if I was new to comics and I come in and they're like, oh hey, here's this Black Label, this is what it is, and I looked on the shelf, I see mostly Batman-esque characters, Harley Quinn, Joker, and then those, and I might not even pick up the Question book, which we both thought was amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Yo.
The Wonder Woman book was amazing.
Yes.
The Superman one sucked. I couldn't stand it. It was a bad read. I don't know if you read that.
No, I didn't.
It was bad. I have to give it to you. I mean, it's just, I think it's still so early, and I think DC doesn't know what they want to do with it, and I think that's why they're letting Joe Hill just go crazy with these books, because I think they just want books out there that say Black Label on it.
Okay.
I think that's really the end game, to pull in guys to say, oh, I'm gonna read this Black Label.
Well, I mean, so Joe Hill, I think, I actually like the titles that I got.
Yeah.
So I think that he's spooky, but I like him. I don't want to see, because he's talented, it get pushed off and then it become not worth what it is worth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of, and I'm looking at comic book speculators and stuff like that now. I've got more in depth and watch more videos and stuff, and I'm starting to see that people are putting goes on titles because of stuff they hear about movies.
Yeah, it's always been like that. It's terrible for the business.
Okay,
it's terrible for speculations.
That's because the speculations are not coming from the people that should be putting it out, and that's the comic book reader. The comic book reader now has a voice because they got YouTube. The comic book reader should be saying, no, this story was amazing. It should be worth this because it was that good. The book is that good. The artwork is that good. You don't say, hey, this is a Picasso, and say, yo, well, it's a Picasso, but it's not the original Picasso. Nah, you got Picassos that have been reprinted that are worth hundreds, some of them thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Depending on where you go. Okay? It's like this. These comic books are rare. I don't care how many prints. If you told me there was a comic book that had been printed and they sent out 1 million copies. All right, cool. There's 1 million copies of this. But the thing is, if it's a great story and it's a first print, these 1 million copies, 20 years later, where they at? Where they at?
I mean, which books?
It depends on
because the books that you're talking about, like if you want to talk about stuff that came out in the 90s that like got really reprinted, it's not worth anything.
Yeah, no, the second prints, third prints, and because of the way people talk about them, they are not worth anything.
Are you saying because of like, okay, so you're valuing? Are you trying to put a value on comics based on their content instead of like first appearances and stuff like that?
I'm saying first appearances could be a part of it, but the content could be a part of it as well.
Yeah.
I'm saying if there was a story and the story was that moving, there's worth in that.
But there's great there's great Batman storylines, there's great Superman, Spider-Man storylines. Those issues aren't really worth anything because the market is only based on right now of first appearances, and the movies help fuel that. Yeah. And like if you look at books that sold really, really well, Spawn 1, not worth anything. Yeah. You know, the X-Men New Genesis, not worth anything. Okay. X-Force 1 is like number 2 or number 3 most selling. Not worth anything. If you look at like New Mutants, was it New Mutants 98 is the first Deadpool? Everywhere I go, I see a copy of that book. No matter where it is. Any con, either whether it's big or it's in a hotel lobby, it's wherever. I see multiple copies of that book. What I don't understand is where you have, I understand. Well, what I should say is I don't understand. Yeah, I guess. I can't comprehend that a book that you see everywhere, that you can sit there and say, oh, this is worth $600. This is worth $500. Why? It's everywhere. But then I went to the Baltimore Con, Amazing 15 for Spider-Man, $20,000. That's a $20,000 book. Okay. I never see that unless I go to the big cons. Yeah. But I don't like the whole aspect of, Deadpool had a movie. For a while, I remember you could get that book for like $20, $15. Yeah. But nobody wanted it. Nobody gave a shit. Because if you cared about the character already, you already had it. Now it's just, he's in a movie. I want to get it because I like the movie. Or, hey, I might be able to. People are buying those books not to enjoy them in the sense of, hey, look, I'm going to put this on my wall. Or, hey, look, I'm going to do whatever. Hey, look, I have something that I can go resell and make money on it. That's what's killing this industry. That's what's killing the markets.
Well, and like I said, the market needs to be redefined.
Yeah,
and the powerful thing about the market being redefined is the people that spend the money on the market.
But here's the thing: it's the same people. Like they were like I read it. I want to say 2 or 3 days ago. Yeah. They looked back in like when did we get out of the recession? Like officially. They looked at that number versus recently comic book sales. It's a flat line. Okay. So you literally during a recession, it was still the same. Probably the reason why it's actually a flat line is because you have you have the movies, you have the X-Men relaunches, maybe the Black Label. Maybe it's something of that, but take away the movies, that flat line is now a dip.
But that's the thing. You don't have to take away the movies. Matter of fact, if you made the stories more worth, you put more worth on the story instead of the character, maybe you wouldn't get 2 versions of the Dark Phoenix saga in a movie theater.
Well, how about this? How come, like, how is it, how many books have we read? Like, just not even doing this video. Yeah. Just that we've sit there and said, man, this is a great book. Yeah. And then we go to talk to somebody else who reads comics. They have no idea. What's that? Yeah. How many other people do you know read Chastity? How many other people do you know read, Locke? What did we read? No. Deadlock or whatever. Deadlock. How many other people read that? Yeah. Well, that's what it is.
But that's what this platform is for, though. That's what the platform is for. Because when you see the video, you're like, wait a minute, he hyped it. Maybe I can go pick that up. And then they say, oh, it was tight. Here we go. We on that. And that's what it's about. It's about the thing. These novels that come out and they'll dispute that they're told you got to read in schools and stuff. All these things were books that other people was like, yo, these are real classics and they classics. This is now the time for comic book people to say, yo, these are classics. These need to be put out there because the artwork and the story bring attention to certain things that need to be talked about and need to be learned. This is what built Superman. Yeah. This is what built Batman. You can't go nowhere around the world and not say Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. They don't know what you're talking about. That's what these books are. And that's why there should be a value on the story. So, I'm thinking more people get together, more comic book readers, use their value and say, no, I want this story. How much? This is what I'm willing to pay for this story. Yeah. Then you're going to see a change.
Okay. So, I can see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, I think we've really went off topic on that. Hey. Anything you want to add?
Nah, man. Good.
All right. Hey, guys. Thanks for listening. Go ahead and sign us off.
Hey.
Since you do it so well.
Don't forget to support your local comic book shops. We need you. And once again, peace and love.
Hit us up in the comment section. I know we do a pretty good job of getting back to you guys. We love the conversations that we have with you guys. Thanks again, guys. Peace.